Good day and welcome to Diksha. My name is Omkar and today's topic emotions. So, somebody recently asked me about love and my opinion on love. So, I took it as an opportunity to speak about emotions. So, uh, the question in particular was about love. What is my definition for love? My idea about love. So, um, so we'll begin first by defining love. Now, if we take our self, our mass being, so it's not, it's a low resolution. We are not looking at any particular things or any particular feature. But if we break it down in ourself, we have emotions, we have the ego, and we have our thoughts or intellect. Now, these three things come from the ego. Now, I'm not saying that these three things alone make up the ego. What I am saying is that based on our mass perception of ourselves, we'll have emotions, ego, intellect. People might say, well, we have beliefs, but I think beliefs fall more under intellectual and egoistic. The beliefs will fall more as a combination of intellect and ego. And the ego is based on how we perceive ourselves or what we choose to put forth into the world from ourselves. So I'm not including beliefs as being part of our self. Now, emotions are part of ourself because they don't fall under the intellect or egoistically, because we won't put forward we'll put forward emotions in through our ego, which we want the world to see or we want the world to perceive from us. So if we want to put the world to perceive that, for example, we are not angry, that we are cool, calm people, but really we have might have anger issues that we keep to ourselves. That's where the ego does not portray emotions. So that's why there's a separation of emotions and ego in this example. So under our emotions, among the major ones, we'll have happiness, and for every emotion, there will be the polar opposite emotion. So we have happy. Flip side to happy is sad, which is the direct polar opposite. We have love, and the polar opposite of love is hate. So we will say the opposite of happiness is, of anger, is a state of calmness. I'll say more contentment. Content.
Content is happy.
Now we can see from trying to portray this example that we already see where we have trouble defining emotions, where we have trouble defining the polar opposite alone. Now, this line in between is also a state of being. And that state of being is called detached. And the opposite of detachment, the polar opposite of being detached, is attachment. Alright? Now, attachment leads to sorrow. And the reason for this, why I say attachment leads to sorrow, is because from being unattached or detached, if one becomes attached to one emotion or its polar opposite, then what naturally follows is the other emotion or the flip side of that emotion. Because, as we know, from one we can be led to the other, simply because from being attached to happiness we have a fear of becoming sad. So that's where fear comes in, which can be seen as another emotion, but fear arises from being attached to one emotion and fearing the opposing emotion. So if I am in love, I have a fear or aversion of hate, right? Whether it's being hated or myself being in a situation where I begin hating. For example, if I am in love, I will fear an event occurring that may cause me to experience hate. This can be anything. I could be in love with my car, my job, a person, a pet, a parent or a sibling. It could be, as long as there's love, which is attachment to an emotion, there is the possibility of hate, and that possibility equals fear, because it is in our nature as human beings to fear the unknown. So it is the unknown event or the possibility of an event that creates this fear. So if I have an attachment to being calm, I will have a fear of becoming angry. I will fear anger. If I have attachment to being happy, I will have a fear of becoming sad or something happening to make me sad. And that is why the middle part, like you may have heard that in Buddhism, the middle part, or the Hindus will say detachment, is where we view happiness and sadness as being equal in value. We view love and hate being equal in value. We view being calm and being angry as equal in value. From a psychological point of view, we will say that all these emotions emerge from the self. They are part of us. So being calm and being angry, having love, having hate, being happy, being sad, all originate from ourselves. And so we should not value one or seek one above the other, because they all exist within us and all have equal value, which is a fallacy that people tend to lean towards, is that I am always happy, or I want to be always happy, which is illogical. Or I want to always be in love or have love, or I can never hate anybody, which is a fallacy, because all emotions exist within us. All emotions come from the self. We choose to project emotions based on our ego, what we want to show the world. And our intellect, through our intellect, we decide what we want to portray to the world as well through our ego. But emotionally, although we portray it, doesn't mean that it does not exist within us. So now that I have laid the foundation for what emotions are, which is emotions are, or rather we should practice detachment from emotion based on the fact that being attached leads to sorrow. So the solution is detachment. And now detachment does not mean, when I say detachment, I am not saying that we should discard one in favor of another, or discard both and become emotionally blind or emotionally numb. What I am saying is, it is the acceptance that both polar opposites exist within the self. And when we accept that, things like, for example, love can be seen as an experience rather than a necessity. And what I mean by that is that if I experience, let's say, love in one situation, without being attached to the feeling of love, then when the love does not exist in another situation, or probably in that similar situation, there's no feeling of sorrow or hurt, because there was no attachment to the feeling of emotion, realizing that all emotions emerge from within us. So that is my short presentation on emotions and the idea of, well, this stemmed from the idea of love. And I hope this provided you with some points to contemplate. My name is Omkar, saying thank you for joining me on Diksha. If you have any comments on today's program, feel free to leave a comment on our Facebook page, Sankhya Television, and I will see you next time.